moving on to the largest, most meatiest anterior muscle. Obviously the glutes is the biggest, the quads is not far behind, depending on who you are. So the quadriceps, we've got the vastus medialis, we've got the vastus medialis obliquus, vastus lateralis, we've got the quad muscle, and obviously the rec fem. So we're going to work through the vastus medialis and the VMO, the rec fem and the vastus lateralis in this pretty quick tutorial. So I've just had a quick feel of Dan. You can't see his face again. You won't want to see his face after what we're going to be doing with him. So his quads are going to erupt into a mess of twitches and hell. So Dan, buckle down, brother. You'll be in safe hands, I think. Alright, so as usual, we're getting our medi swabs, and we're going to be doing the VL, the vastus lat, first. Now, the VL is a really beautiful trigger point because there are a bunch of trigger points that work up the lateral part of the leg, but you know, they come down to this kind of crescendo of trigger point loveliness that kind of comes into this region, and this has a tremendously good effect on any type of knee pain. So we're going to be cleaning that spot. I know exactly where it is. I've been feeling it all day, and we pop the guide tube in, we tap it in, we're going to insert that needle, and Danny is going to, now I've just kind of gone a little bit too deep on that, we're just going to go and find that trigger point, and off it goes. Don't know if the camera caught that, but you could see quite a large twitch on this outside corner. And Danny has got some fantastic VL triggers. So they're twitching away, he's loving life, he's having a bit of giggle to himself, and that's what we want out of our clients. Now we come on to the rec fem. Now the rec fem trigger point's a little bit higher up, kind of comes through this medial part. We're going to be getting right into the middle, the nitty gritty of it. How does that feel, Mr. M? Ow. There it is. Alright, so it's a little bit further up. I'm using a 0.7 times a 70 mil times 0.3. This is going to be a doozy as well. I've already hit some restriction in terms of tension. And how's that feeling, Dan? He's not too fussed with it. So we're going to shift that on pretty quick, because if we hit the right spot, it really should hit him quite quickly. We're going in for another dive. I'm just going to be, yep, I've hit enough. Oh, there, it feels like Swiss cheese. Feels quite thick, and you know, what you're looking for is a difference in tension of the muscle layers. So it'll be quite smooth, and then you'll actually hit something that's quite hard. It feels like, you know, more of a feta cheese, more, you know, less like bocconcini, more like feta. And when you start to hit parmesan, you're really getting into some crazy kind of deep layers of fascia. So that's what we're looking at there. So that's the rec fem. Now for the vastus medialis and the VMO, we can actually use a slightly smaller needle. So going to the 40 mils, because the trigger points are a little bit more superficial on those, depending on, of course, the amount of adipose tissue covering. So we're going to be coming across to the vastus medialis. This one is fantastic for activating trigger points and trying to get the vastus medialis woken up, get the firing mechanisms working. We just pop in, it's really, really obvious. They're the ones that we used to like squeezing when we were kids on the bus. You tap it in, and you're going to elicit a really fine twitch, and Dan's is just about to come on. How's that feel, Dan? Alright. Let's move that a little bit more laterally. We just tap the needle in, and Dan's playing silly buggers with me at the moment. I'm very, very close to this trigger point, but it's feeling so smooth that I'm not eliciting the actual twitch that I'm looking for. Okay, so we're going to call it a day on that vastus medialis. So this is the region that we're looking at. It is that region where when you stick your finger in, you actually feel quite a large amount of discomfort. We're going to be moving on to the vastus medialis now as well. Now you can move into, you know, the more of the adductors, etc. As you move through, but we're going to be sticking mostly with the quad muscles, quadriceps, and feel a bit of ropiness there, and he feels a lot more through that region. And then there we go. So we're now onto the VM. It's a lot thicker needle. Gumpy hands like me can even get this, and we've had a huge amount of twitching. Now I'm getting the twitching down at the VM as well. the VM's jumping around. So that is the for needling of the quadriceps. The VM didn't play ball, the VMO didn't play ball, the VM worked well, Rec Vem worked well, and vastus lateralis, as always, was an absolute doozy. Thank you, Dan. Alright, good stuff. That's the 411 on needling of the quad.